Hello, I am Dr. Vinita Solanki from Mata Jijabai Girls Degree College, Moti Tabela, Indore. I shall be discussing my knowledge about the rape of the lock as a social satire written by Alexander Pope. This lecture intends to enhance students' grip on the poem The Rape of the Lock, written by Alexander Pope as a social satire. As we all know, Alexander Pope is an early 18th century poet, and the poem The Rape of the Lock is his representative poem. Before I start with the main topic, let us discuss about what is a satire and another objective in this slide presentation. I will also discuss about the chief characteristics of the early 18th century in London. Satire is a literary device that holds human nature up to criticism and scorn. In simpler words, the use of humor to attack a person's follies or flaws. It can be gentle, pungent, or harsh. The satirist uses humor, wit, irony, etc. to justify his point. After satire, now we come to what social satire is and its purpose. Social satire focuses on the unpleasant reality in a particular society. Through it, the author describes to improve the weaknesses of a society. Pope, in this poem, delineates a real picture of early 18th century aristocratic society, spoiled young boys and girls of London with their follies and vices. He exposes issues like lack of social and moral values, hollowness of fair sex. Fair sex he particularly describes for the young girls and women, materialistic relationships, corruption, emptiness of the social life, etc. Pope also gives a satirical picture of the judges, jury members, and merchants of his time, that is, early 18th century. The Rape of the Lock till date spreads awareness about the triviality of the 18th century London's aristocratic society. Belinda, whose original name was Arabella Fermor, is a beautiful nymph whose favorite lock of hair was cut off by her family friend, Lord Peter. His original name was the Baron. This poem was written on the request of Pope's friend John Carroll to reunite the two fighting families to restore the lock of hair from Lord Peter, because Lord Peter wanted to keep it as his greatest treasure or possession. Pope's main purpose was to compose this poem to mock on a society that was wasting time in useless activities, fighting on petty issues, and killing reputation of each other. Now we shall discuss about the characteristic feature of the age of Pope. The features they cover how Pope has ridiculed the aristocratic spoiled young boys and girls. First of all, they lacked morality. That means their moral values were zero for them. For girls, virginity was not a big question. Then frequent visits to coffee shops at Hampton Court. As we all see today also, the young boys and girls, they are busy there in the coffee shops. In the same way, in the early 18th century, the young boys and girls of rich families, they used to visit the coffee shops to discuss about free trivial matters. The boys or the girls, they used to throw ballroom dance parties or the masquerade dance parties, in which they even never cared about the partners. Drinking, gambling, and snuff taking were the important practices in the 18th century, and especially they used to play the card game of Omber, which has been discussed in the poem. Sham marriages in presence of sham priest for economical purpose was also in a great practice. The rich girls and boys used to marry each other so as for the financial matters. The greatest passion of the early 18th century rich society girls was the lapdogs. They were much favorite of them even in comparison to their husbands. They used to cry loud if their lapdog used to die. So this was also one of the most great characteristics. And playing cards, as I have discussed, Omber game is being discussed in the poem, and Belinda was declared victorious on the table. Pope, through this poem, renders us a real picture of England at that time with its moral flaws, and he tried to paint the early 18th century society with a real issue which happened in London for in a day. He has presented us a very trivial theme of what? A cutting of lock of hair, which is a very petty issue, in form of a satire, so as to amend the two fighting families and to amend the young boys and girls who are spoiled in the 18th century society. That's all for today. I hope you must have enjoyed and learned a bit of what a social satire is, what a satire is, and about the rape of the lock.